Dr. Harris, I was noting in your testimony about the reality here of what this means, the debilitating nature of these cases and how painful they are when someone is experiencing black lung. In your experience, do minors with the most serious black lung disease always get the benefits they've earned? That's kind of part one of the question, and part two is what stands in their way.
Thanks for that question. The short answer is no, they don't always get the benefits they deserve. And I think it's important to understand how long and painful the process is for the minors. And the average case takes years to resolve. And the layers of appeal that happens goes on from the Department of Labor to the administrative law judge, to the benefits review board, to the district court. It just goes on and on and on. And it's super frustrating for people. I think the biggest reason why claims are disputed is whether or not complicated disease is there, whether or not progressive massive fibrosis is present or not, which is usually one X-ray opinion versus another X-ray opinion. And so I think an important way to improve that process is to utilize CT scans. And so inside the Black Lung Benefits Improvement Act, it specifies if someone's X-ray is abnormal, we should be using CT scans. And I think that would help tremendously to improve the process. It's not going to help every minor. And I could name a million examples, not a million, I could name many examples of minors that I've cared for that have really horrible, horrendously severe disease, category B progressive massive fibrosis. Last week I was working on a case, and his case has gone on for 5 years. He has a mass that's 5 centimeters in his lung. It's not subtle, and it's still taking 5 years to resolve. And I think it eventually will resolve in his favor because the evidence is indisputable, but it's taking a really long time, and so there's lots of challenges.
And I think there are a few diseases where it is literally every breath you take, you can feel it. And obviously, one of the many reasons why we have to pass the Black Lung Benefits Improvement Act and to close loopholes, because if we pass that law to close loopholes and order courts to award benefits. I wanted to conclude maybe I'll submit this for the record, but President Roberts, you talked about the silica rule, and we're grateful for that, for the work on that. And maybe I'll just, I don't know if we have time for a question or what's the most important thing we could do here in the Senate and the House to ensure that coal miners affected by black lung disease can easily access the disability benefits to which they're entitled?
Well, first of all, the system is grossly unfair. And what the doctor said here has been our experience too. And I think you should take a look at some of the things that's happened along the way here. We've had attorneys that withheld evidence that minors had pneumoconiosis, and they did not inform the opposing attorney that they had that. Those people have been sanctioned. Then just go over to Johns Hopkins Hospital. There was I think CBS did a story on this. They had a doctor there that was well known that never one time in his career found pneumoconiosis in a minor's lungs. And every time that he made a decision like that, the minor did not get their benefits. So there's got to be some way to level the playing field. I would suggest just ask any attorney in the coal fields if they want to be a black lung attorney and see what they tell you. They can't afford to be a black lung attorney. So workers who are sick find themselves without representation or depending on a lawyer attorney that just wants to be helpful to society. And there are some of those out there, and I know them. But if you want to make a living as an attorney, you don't want to be doing this. So we've got to figure out how we balance the playing field here. But the most important thing we could do, let's not have anybody else contract black lung. Mm-hmm. And if you think that can't be done, that's not true. We've heard for years that you couldn't make coal mines safe, but we proved with the law that was passed in '69 that you could. Just look at the statistics of the 20 years, 10 years, 30 years, or 40 years before the law passed and see what's happened the 40 years afterwards. There are people walking around alive today would have been dead in 1970 if they didn't have this law to fall back on. So laws work, but you got to have laws that are enforced, and people have to want to make those mines safer. So let's just not have any more black lung cases. And Congress has the power and the ability to do that. That's a fact.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Lujan.